Minister Sabri, Ambassador Hussein, distinguished guests, good evening. Ibawan, Manakam, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the opportunity to share this message with you all tonight, and a special thank you to Mr. Mohammed Hisham for making this happen. I wish I could be with you in person. I have visited Chicago many times, luckily always in the summer. May is a great time to be in Chicago, much better than the frigid winters. This year marks 75 years of bilateral relations between the United States and Sri Lanka, a relationship based on people-to-people connections and shared values. During my time in Sri Lanka, I've seen many examples of the strong ties between our two countries, not only between our governments, but also in education, the business sector, arts, and more. The launch of the Zamzam Foundation in Chicago is a perfect example of this long-standing friendship and robust cross-cultural connection between the American and Sri Lankan people. The past year has been challenging for Sri Lanka, and our ties have grown even stronger during this period of crisis. I'm so proud of how the American people, including Sri Lankan Americans, have stepped up to support the people of Sri Lanka. Over the past year, we provided Sri Lanka with an additional $270 million in new support that has helped communities across the country, from fertilizer for farmers to food aid for school children to financing for small businesses. In addition, direct people-to-people support from the Sri Lankan diaspora has provided even more assistance to Sri Lankan communities, including medical supplies and food donations. Sri Lanka still has a long path to recovery, but I'm optimistic about the road ahead, especially with the collective support of the global Sri Lankan community. And organizations like Zamzam strengthen the existing ties between the American and Sri Lankan people, and they help the connection flourish among second and even third generation Sri Lankan Americans. I strongly believe in the power of young people who represent the future of both of our countries. Recently here at the embassy, we brought together youth from all around Sri Lanka, representing all religious and ethnic groups in our youth forum. I was so inspired by the passion they brought and the ideas they shared about important issues like reconciliation and entrepreneurial development. A couple months ago, I met a young Sri Lankan American entrepreneur from Los Angeles in my home state of California, who is bringing an accelerator here to help Sri Lankans grow their own startups. And from Chicago, there is Professor Sivanathan, who recently gave a virtual address at the Sri Lankan National Science Technology Commission's conference. These are great examples of how Sri Lankan Americans maintain their connections to Sri Lanka and continue to help the country rebuild. During my time here, I've also gained a deep appreciation for Sri Lanka's rich religious diversity. I've been fortunate to visit a variety of mosques, temples, kovilles, and churches all across the country. I hosted 2 iftars, and recently I met with the Bora community here in Colombo and learned about their contributions to Sri Lanka. I also celebrated Vesak with friends and colleagues, deepening our understanding of Sri Lanka's Buddhist cultural heritage. My own Christian faith is important to me, and I always valued learning about other faiths and religious traditions. In the United States, we promote religious freedom as the deepest expression of our values and as a national security imperative. History has shown that nations that uphold and protect the rights of their people, including religious freedom, are more just, peaceful, and prosperous. Organizations like Zamzam that promote interfaith harmony and understanding contribute to that strong tradition. You should be proud of the excellent work you are doing. Thank you again for the opportunity to share with you tonight. I look forward to seeing your accomplishments take root both in the United States and in Sri Lanka. Enjoy the evening.